least favorite show. I don't understand you guys. What language are you speaking? We are speaking to what? What? You're not live.
We are live.
Tim, you're supposed to tell me. Welcome back to another podcast, guys. Yes, it is Tuesday. Nothing to see here. A little pre-show jitters. I sometimes my body is taken over by a 3-year-old child. Guys, it is No Sugar, No Cream podcast, and it is that time of day. And we're gonna have a great podcast for you guys. Once again, Tim is not here or available.
Well, somebody's moving the camera, but I don't know who that would be.
So he's talking off. But anyways, Tim is traveling abroad, and looks like he just got in.
Just got back in, and I rushed from the airport. Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
Seth is not believable. Just
if
you meet him, he's probably just blown smoke.
Good thing that you don't like that bit that much because I don't have anything planned, like an excuse for what I said to studying abroad. That was the worst thing and I need to think of something creative. Like there's a podcast where it's like they switch out one person a lot of times, and he'll have something creative how he's having some kind of surgery, or he has like something serious, and he delivers it straight like it is true. There's probably people that believe it if they don't know the bit. But anyways, Tim, it's another podcast.
It's another podcast. So this is
Seth.
55.
55? Wouldn't it be 55?
Yes, you are right. 55. I stand corrected.
I was about to say 60, but hey, that makes no sense at all. How's the 60?
This might be 110 or 20, depending how you did it.
Well, I guarantee
10,
it's
20.
More than 7. That is the average that we know of. I've randomly heard that a few times. So, but yeah, we're here, and we had a great trip up to Madison for the last 4 days. Got back late Sunday night.
Yes.
And got to take advantage of the hour change that happens along the trip just randomly. We don't know where exactly.
Right.
It's definitely right before we get to Sonic.
So
the employees don't know that there's a timeline right there. How did you not know that you're right near
so
timeline?
we're in Kentucky. So you go from Madison, Indiana, you go through Louisville, had a gig in Sunday night. Thank you, all of you who came out to that at Stevie Rays. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
And for people who just walked in, that was awesome, and enjoyed it.
And you got to meet the funniest man in Nashville. He was at the front door. So next time, if you missed it, make sure you come.
Somebody said that. And I was like, what? How do you know that?
Thank you for Gary, the proprietor, or the main guy. I think he owns Stevie Rays. He was so.
Yeah, him and 2 other people.
There's a coaster there for a reason.
No, it doesn't count if I'm still touching it. It's like the chess rules. I apply the chess rules to coffee cup. I was wondering why you were looking at me like this. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm trying my hardest to destroy this nice table of Tim's.
Coming home after a gig, I mean, invariably you're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're driving and we're saying, we must get something to eat. And I'm driving, but Seth's got his phone out and he's looking. And he said, I'm in the mood for Sonic. And I said, yeah, Sonic sounds good. And he found one that we had just crossed the line where the time changed, because Nashville's on Central Time and Louisville's on Eastern Time, and there is a switch obviously between the two, and exactly where that is, it's south of Louisville, but where it is, it's wherever we got off, because Seth thought they would be closed, but we luckily were 10 minutes past the line, and it was an hour early.
We got a kick out of this because the only way that we would have been able to go to this place is that they close at 10, but the hour goes back like 5-10 minutes before we get there. The hour switches, so they are.
Oh no, they switch they're on the line. So the
Right.
way we were traveling, we were 5 minutes away from them.
But if I went by the time zone we were in, they would have been closed.
Right. So we were only 5 minutes away from getting into the central time zone.
If it wasn't for Google and knowing the time change and everything like that, like it applies that. It go ahead and adds that in and knows that it will be open.
Well, my buddy Jimmy, who plays a lot of gigs. I mean, he played, I think, 4 gigs last Friday, Saturday, and he played with us at Stevie Rays. I think it was his second gig of the day. I think he played 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. How in the world do you keep up with all that? But anyway, so he told me that he used to play in a lot of small towns in Kentucky, and I don't know if it's still the case, but the time changes, whether it's on, like on daylight savings time or not, varied from small town to small town. And you make a gig and you're supposed to be there at a certain time, right? I mean, if you're supposed to start playing at 7, you better be there at 6 and set up, or depending how long it takes you to set up. And you don't want to start late because the proprietor will be upset because they hired you to play a certain time. And so he had a few, either close calls or the time zone was missed. So he got into the habit of calling the bar, and whoever asked them, whoever answered, he would say, "What time is it there right now?" And they would tell him, and then he would calculate, if they had daylight savings time or they didn't, or they're Eastern time zone or Central time zone, because he knew what his time was. And if they were an hour behind, then he knew they were in Central. So he said, it seems like that's been cleaned up a bit, because he mentions that in a past tense case that he used to do that. So maybe all that different variation from town to town has varied. But it's possible that was still the case, because it was a random little town. I mean, we were just driving along, and normally I would stop at a truck stop, and Seth said, "Hey, are you good with fast food?" And I'm like, "Okay, I can do fast food." I was actually in the mood for, sometimes I get a craving for a loaded hot dog, which is what I got. And you can get it at Sonic. That's one of the things I love to get at Sonic. You get a loaded hot dog, or a chili dog, or a Coney Island. I mean, I think they called it a Coney Island. I got a foot long. That's what I got. And it was great. It was phenomenal. Hit the spot at 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night, depending on which time zone we were in.
Yeah, there's this hot dog place we got to hit up then that's in Nashville. I think it's a chain that just recently opened up, and it's kind of like a sports bar slash hot dog place. And it's supposed to be a nice chain.
When I lived in New York City decades ago, I lived on the Upper East Side, 83rd Street. And see if I can remember my streets. What was the major cross street? Was it 90, 92nd, 91st, 90th? Somewhere in there. So you have to walk, or 89th maybe? I don't remember. But the major, you'd have your major cross streets. Like 72nd was a major cross street. And I think it was maybe every 12. It made sense. You could calculate it out. Anyway, I think it might have been every 12. But anyhow, the cross street north of me, I was on 83rd, and whether it was 90 or 92, there was a place that had incredible hot dogs. I wonder if it's still open. And they also, something you wouldn't think would go, they made these, what would you call them, smoothies with tropical fruit, like mango, or what have you, you could get different flavors. And oh my gosh, that was good. That was so good. There'd all be a line. You couldn't sit down inside. You'd have to sit. There's some places you could kind of stand and eat outside. Man, I wish I could remember.
Pink's. Have you been to Pink's in Hollywood?
I've not.
Oh man, if you ever made it down that's a famous place, and anything you can imagine, different toppings for a name of a hot dog, and like tons of different.
I'm getting hungry thinking about that.
Yeah,
I would. Amazing. If anyone knows, if anybody's watching this, and you know the name of the establishment that I'm talking about, please post underneath. I'll probably Google it when we get off, because that place was rather unique. You wouldn't think, ooh, mango smoothie and a hot dog. Ooh, that doesn't taste good, but it was amazing. We did some ASMR last time or 2 weeks ago, and
check out our clip.
It didn't.
It was amazing. Don't listen to Tim. It was amazing. Check it out. Yeah, I think the name of this place. In fact, Jake Paul has been opening some chains. It's called Doghouse, and it's like an upscale, kind of nicer, kind of like a Chili's in a way, but a hot dog. Main thing is hot dogs. And it's called Doghouse, but the house is spelled Haus, I think. And I thought when it was going to be open in Nashville, I'm not sure. I thought it already opened. Maybe it still is. I don't know. Maybe that was somewhere else. But there is, in fact, the big burger place from California. It's completely
In-N-Out or
In-N-Out, yes.
In-N-Out, yeah.
In-N-Out is moving its headquarters here, and it's going to start opening some locations. I guess next year. I think they've already broke ground, and you can drive by and see that it's going to be an In-N-Out. But so it's like the official. I think there's some non-official, like maybe corporate ones that are, or franchise ones that are in. So it's a little different in Texas, but we're getting the official run by
moving their
family.
headquarters here from California.
Yeah,
I feel like a California company.
They've had such a rough time in California, I guess is what, but they're moving to Nashville. It's kind of interesting. There's a number of I'm running across a number of TikTokers and even YouTubers, and some from people from the Vlog Squad have already bought houses here in Nashville. Like, which is kind of funny because they're getting late on everybody. A lot of moves were made just after.
Oh no! Now's the time to buy. Prices are down. Prices are down.
Right? I guess it is. There was a crazy boom. So
there was a boom, and now is the time to buy. If you want to move to Nashville, now is the time, because there was an incredible boom. I saw an article the other day, and it labeled Nashville as the worst market and in the country, major market of the country, but they just were going by change of how many. Okay, so the metric that real estate people use: how many days is a house after it's listed? Is it listed before it sells? Days on the market, and once you get over 50. Average, you got your exceptional house that's going to sell. Like there was a property that Jimmy and I wanted to buy right next to our property, and they listed it, and within about 24 hours, or at 30 the most, they had an offer on it because it was priced very, very, very nicely for the buyer. But so you're going to have differences. You're going to have an odd house that's going to take longer, but it's the average. What is the average number of days that every house that gets put up for sale is on the market? And that is a metric that you use to see if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. And Nashville didn't have the highest average days, but it had the highest change from year to year, from 23 to 24. And so based on that metric, they said Nashville is the worst market. But it didn't even have the highest average days. In fact, the highest average days on the market was Miami. So Nashville, I believe, was 64 or 62. 64 or 62. I remember it was low 60s. Miami is like 83 days on the market. And so Miami has been slow for a long time. And in the top 10, there were 5 Florida cities in the top 10. So Florida is slowing down, apparently.
So it's always a good time for housing. Depends, though, if you're buying or selling.
Right.
So
Seth and I,
Tampa's a good time
we're gonna buy. We're gonna buy in Tampa.
Yeah.
Speaking it into existence.
I need to call that realtor. Now I'm curious. Would you be curious how much what a realtor would list this place for?
I know.
Would you be curious?
I know.
Okay.
I know. I know pretty much. I mean, there's a house just up the street up for sale. I mean, the houses in this, and this is a nice, middle class neighborhood. A lot of new houses. My house was built in 2017, and the house next to me was built in 2017, and the house to the south of us was built like maybe 2016. And then there's a whole slew of houses that's been built within a 9 iron from our house. I don't know why I use that. But they're all
reference. A lot different though too, which is unique. And then I think that's gonna be. I think yours is.
I haven't golfed in decades. Why did I use a golf reference? I don't know.
We'll never know.
Oh, probably because of the Adam Sandler movie.
Which could have been better.
Yeah.
It's kind of about
Happy Gilmore. I didn't get through it. I thought it was really. I did love seeing John. Who's the John? I forgot his last name.
Cameos were amazing. There's so many cameos.
John, the guy that was he won a couple majors and he was famous for being a heavy drinker. What's his name?
Oh yeah, he did great. He
actually should do more roles. He acted. He didn't seem like this is an acting guy.
He does some different.
John Daly.
He's fantastic. Yeah. He's
they had a bunch of the golf pros like Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer should not be an actor. I mean, I know he's in his 80s now, but that was pretty stiff. And a few others.
Yeah, and that's good. You're gonna have that with those cameos, and that was that was probably part of the reason that it kind of lagged in the ways. But I didn't like how spoiler alert, they killed off the mom at the beginning. I was looking forward to her, like she was in all these interviews and stuff. I thought she was gonna be a main part in all the story, and she's an amazing character because of Modern Family. She kills it on. I mean, everybody kills it on Modern Family, but she's one of the main parents, and her character is just hilarious. She's hilarious. Both her and her husband character are two of my favorite, and she's just hilarious in that, and it's perfect for this. But so she has a big star. I mean, maybe they didn't want to put her in there that much because she was a bigger star. She would have taken more of the light, which that would have been fun. That would have been hilarious. They could have had some funny banter, but
I like a surprise. I mean, and as you know, when I'm watching a movie, and I much prefer movies over, I think we've said this before, but I'll repeat it again. I'll try to make it short. I mean, the hero's journey, there's a certain arc for stories.
Is this something new?
No, it's not new.
I'm just kidding.
I'm trying to summarize it. The hero's journey has a certain arc. All the great stories, whether it's a movie, has an arc for the hero, and they become dissatisfied. They usually move to a different place. They get challenged. They have to overcome adversaries and adversity, and then they learn something. They change, and they come back home a changed person, better for their experiences. That model, that template fits with some slight modifications most of the great movies and books that we've read.
It's got good movies.
And so
the issue is going to be me introducing you to a series that doesn't follow that at all.
Right.
So
see, series
I'm always
you can't, because you have to do probably a mini hero's journey for every episode, especially if it's an hour long. Now, if it's a sitcom, like for example, let's take Seinfeld. Those characters didn't learn anything. That was part of the thing. I think even they said, Larry David said, our characters cannot learn anything. They cannot grow. We're being the anti. We're going to keep our characters exactly the same, and they're not going to grow. I think that was part of their actual. They probably had a whiteboard. These are our rules that we have to follow when we write these episodes. And part of the thing was none of the characters could grow and learn, which it was comedy. They were making comedy. So that was part of it. I mean, Kramer was Kramer from the first episode to the last episode. Jerry was Jerry, and so on. I mean, did they move? They really didn't learn anything. And probably the same with Friends. Probably for a good comedy show, you need that. The Friends, did they grow? I mean, well, they did. I guess they got older and they got married and stuff. Don't know too much about it.
I love a good sitcom too. I never, it was kind of before my time a little bit. I should try watching.
So sitcoms probably are a different model. You don't use the hero's journey probably. But I mean, let's think of dramas like Sopranos. Sopranos, did they learn anything? Did Mr. Soprano, I forgot his first name. Tony. Did he learn anything? He was going to therapy, but I don't think he learned anything. You don't think he grew, so it's a series. So in general, it takes great writing to keep you interested. In Sopranos, I love Sopranos. I mean, I'm addicted to mobster stuff. Leave the gun, take the cannolis. That was ad-libbed, by the way. That's from The Godfather. Movie came out in 1972. How many years ago? 50 years ago, 3 years ago. Anyway, hero's journey. And so I have trouble liking a series because they can't adapt the hero's journey method, which makes a great story, because especially if they want it to go on. But some series do. Like one is Friends and Neighbors, and he actually did progress. He actually did learn, didn't he? In a way, in his own way. I mean, shocked you with the ending, Friends and Neighbors.
Yeah, well, it was surprising that he's gonna keep stealing.
He's gonna keep stealing. Yeah, he loses his job and he does progress. Actually, he does progress. There's a bit of a journey there for him.
Yeah,
he becomes more of a. He tries to win his wife back and becomes more caring. Tries to have a better relationship with his son, and he's learning. He's growing. Actually, he does. There's some progression there, and that's maybe why I like it. And now I'm anxious for the next season. Great writing. I mean, and so there are series that I love. Bad Monkey. I got a soft spot for Vince Vaughn. I just love Vince Vaughn. He's funny, and I hadn't seen anything for years and years. And so the Bad Monkey, that was a series that we watched. It was set in an island. Was it in the Keys or somewhere on an island in the Caribbean? I don't remember if it was the Keys or where it was.
Florida, right? And then
was it the Keys?
But also the Keys. Yeah, it was the Keys, I think. Yeah, I think you're right. But then the islands was part of it because they went to an island for something. There was some land that was involved. Yeah, an island involved.
Right, that's right. And they were going to develop it. I mean, it had great writing. Loved it.
Yeah, love Vince Vaughn. I know. I was kind of turned off by his newest movie, but maybe I should give it a chance. I haven't looked at
with the older ladies in the kitchen.
The older ladies in the kitchen. I mean, I do like Vince Vaughn quite a bit. So nice to see him make a comeback. I don't know what he's been up to the last 10 years.
Even great powerful actors like that can't say bad writing. We saw a movie recently with some great actors in it. It had what's his name? I can't think of his name. A black actor who lost a tremendous amount of weight, and it had Tom Hardy in it, and bunch of some other big names. But it was just your classic shoot 'em up. The fight scene where everybody's shooting at each other and all the doors are getting riddled with bullets, and the good guys aren't dying, but the bad guys are. And the shooting scene goes on for like 25 minutes. Like, how do you have enough ammunition to keep going? It just defies any. Tom Hardy was in it. I think we were watching.
Yeah,
I
we
said,
have a different opinion.
And I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed.
I can see
there's nothing happening here. I mean, it's just so predictable, And Tom Hardy is one of the best actors alive today, but even he couldn't save that.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
You did enjoy though John Wick though, right?
No,
it was still too much for you too. Then yeah, you're just not a big action person. I mean, which makes sense. I mean, it's always fun when I can like call, "Ooh, Tim's gonna like this movie," and there's a perfect little benchmark of
and I know.
Ones
okay, what I'm gonna say next.
Oh,
you're not gonna like it.
Oh no, here it comes.
My apologies in advance.
It's gonna hurt.
I do like Keanu Reeves, but his acting.
Oh, I know that
scope is.
I'm pretty sure I've made
pretty narrow. I mean, he plays the same character over.
Pretty narrow. It's a line, Tim. There's nothing there. I'm pretty sure I've pointed it out. In fact, I thought you had defended him before.
So
funny.
That's probably another reason why John. I mean, the same guy playing the same character.
Paul Walker was the same.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
okay.
He very much so. Slightly better than John Wick, but not much. But he's played the same in all of his movies, which there is a really good movie that I would like to introduce you to that he was in. Paul Walker, rest in peace. I think they got one more Fast and Furious movie left. But if he can play that well, if it's in that, if he gets to play himself, yeah, he's good. But man, when somebody can. Who like Johnny Depp? Oh my gosh, I missed seeing him in a movie in a while. Like he acted so well that he creeped you out, and in a way ruined it. But there was a one to compare it to though. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I mean, that first one was iconic, but he did a very more creepy version of that, but. Amazing acting. Oh my gosh. And I don't care. I enjoyed him playing the Indian, and I forget the name of that one, but he did an amazing job. And there's nothing like Pirates of the Caribbean. Were you a Pirates of the Caribbean fan?
Yeah.
That kind of borders on the line of sci-fi, but it is very much a pirate movie.
Yeah, love it. Yeah,
the magic and unrealism in it is so smart compared to what the storyline is, the acting.
Yeah,
Johnny Depp, the way he can just play, he's just a drunk person. Like he's a drunk person that's not really drunk, or is he drunk? That is the question. Is he just always
they say he modeled that character after the Rolling Stones' Keith Richards.
Oh, really?
Oh, you didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. You know Keith Richards?
No, I guess I need a picture.
Keith Richards is a guy that people make jokes about, because he survived so much drugs and so much abuse of his body and hard living, and people say that he's going to outlive everything. They say there's a lot of memes about
81 still kicking
Keith Richards. And he's got he's done a lot of drugs, and it seems to affect the way he talks. He talks kind of like a vacuous guy. Has come up with some phenomenal guitar lines. I mean, a guitar has 6 strings, and he decided I don't need all 6, and he took one off. He plays with 5 strings.
He also appeared in 2 Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Yeah, because of that. Because Johnny Depp modeled his character after Keith Richards. Does it say that there?
No, not a fan, but that's what I was expecting to read. That's why I started reading it. But yeah, it makes. I mean, I would say that proves that you are correct. I mean, I think you weren't. You have a pretty good memory.
Yeah. So Keith Richards kind of
number is involved.
Oh, you think so? No, you are wrong. I don't know why you get on this, but you are wrong. The number of times that you have forgotten numbers and I knew them, I will. Do you want me to recount? I will start marking them down.
Tim, if we're going to talk about memory loss, there's no comparison. Your memory is much better than mine. I was just making joke of the 54, which you kicked yourself more than anybody else.
Oh, that one. Oh, yes, that one. Yes.
Reference to.
Yeah, if you didn't watch, I derisively to my nephew, I was said, 53 plus 1 is 54. Talking down to him like he was dumb. I mean, and guess who was wrong and who was right? He said it's 53. I said, no, it's 54. 53. And guess what? It was 53.
And I didn't care one bit, but he wrote
what an idiot. I mean, I will own that.
Text.
I will own that.
He wrote me an apology text, but
I felt I was ashamed and horrified. Here I thought I was so right, and I thought that remember when we did 52, which was a big one. I thought that's a big one because that's 1 year's worth of weekly podcast. I don't know that we actually did it at a 1 year anniversary because we might have missed 1 or 2. I don't recall, but 52 to me was a big number. And I thought we had done one between 52 and that one that I said was 54. But it had only been a week. It just still shocks my mind. So now I look it up. Okay, what number is this? Because I don't want to be wrong. What was the last one? Okay, 54. Okay, this is 55. Okay.
Yeah, I have short-term memory was like, my names. I'm so tough with names. Like, but I guess, not as good as numbers as I used to. I used to be able to add up numbers really well. Like Grandpa could do that really well, but calculator really messed me up, and I wasn't able to add up numbers as quickly as I could in my head as I am today. Or I'm so much. I'm not as good as it at all as I was back in the day. I could just add up numbers so quickly in my head. Calculators just ruined it for you. I know we learned all this math and everything, and then like, okay, here's a calculator, which just untaught me everything I had just learned in a way.
One of our previous messages podcasts, I talked about Lamborghini and how we started making tractors. And I came across, and there's still Lamborghini tractors. And I came across the video of a farmer in the UK, and he talked just like Michael Caine. Michael Caine. Sometimes goes to the soft whisper. You know the Michael Caine
I
voice.
love Michael
He's
Caine's
got a very
voice.
unique way of speaking. It must be a regional accent because this guy sounded exactly like Michael Caine. And then he would go down. Sometimes talk, what the change, Michael Caine sometimes would go down to like a whispery when he would talk, when he would go down in note or frequency, I guess, like lower note. And then anyway, the point was he was telling his daughter who was driving the tractor, who's a farmer in the UK, and it just cracked me up because he was talking about all the different models of tractors, and I was surprised that all those models of tractors are still being made and are apparently popular in the UK. And Massey Ferguson, we had a Massey Ferguson tractor. Fendt is Italian, and I always wanted to have an Italian tractor or a Fendt tractor, because I thought it was sexy or something. Fendt, Fendt. And Fendt. What else? He talked about, and he did mention Lambo. He said John Deere, all the John. So he's telling his daughter what to do. She's driving the tractor, and what to do if she meets someone on the road with another tractor, and what to do. If it's the same make and model of hers, you wave enthusiastically. But if it's some tractors that they look down on, you wave with, and if it's an older model, you wave at them and they'll be so excited because normally they don't get waved at, 2000 or less. And he said, if it's a John Deere, just ignore them because they're all arrogant. They all think they're better than everyone else. It just cracked me up. And then at the end of the video, he said, somebody made a reference to, how about a Lambo? Ooh, apparently, they even Lambo tractor. I have no idea if they're any good quality or not, but they've got the reputation. I've got a Lamborghini in my garage. It's a tractor, but it's a Lamborghini. So that's a throwback to previous. I want to do a little more research, and I did find out because the first tractor I drove was an Alice Chalmers, and Alice Chalmers does not exist anymore.
A little bigger than this.
It was a little bigger, yeah. I wasn't quite that small, and they made them until I looked it up, in the 80s, and then they sold the brand to a company called Agco, and Agco is one of the and has a lot of these smaller brands. Fendt is owned by Agco, I learned, and they don't make Alice Chalmers tractors, but they make Agco tractors, and I think they're orange. And John Deere. See, my dad had John Deere, so I just default John Deere. The combine that they made was a Gleaner combine, and it was the silver on the outside, like galvanated or stainless. I don't know if it was galvanated steel. It was silver. It wasn't painted. It was silver, galvanized sheet metal on the outside. So a very distinctive look. And they still make those Gleaner combines, but they were the Alice Chalmers version. So just interesting. It was very nostalgic for me, growing up. Tractors, which tractor do you drive tells a lot about you, back then in the farming community. And I suppose it's still the same. But the problem with John Deere, and I did intern one summer between my junior and senior years of my engineering degree. I interned at John Deere, and they gave me the best offer, but I didn't want to stay in the Midwest. It would have been in Iowa, Waterloo, Iowa, middle of nowhere. And I wanted to move to the East Coast. And
you could have been running John Deere right now.
So what John Deere has done, all the farmers are pretty upset with them. The new tractors and combines and equipment are so sophisticated you can't even work on them yourself. They have computers and everything, and you have to have a place in your shop. Somebody was telling me that you have to have a place for them where they can work, and you have to have a set aside spot to their specifications, so when they come out they can work on your implement, your tractor or combine or whatever it is, in your shop. And they require them to have all these different apps, and you have to have these subscriptions to all the apps, or that part of the tractor or combine won't work. And it's gotten so expensive, and they're not really focused on farmers, so that now older tractors and combines, pre-computer or maybe even probably 20 years ago, didn't have all the computers, have gone way up in price because everybody's getting those and then just making do with the older technology because the newer technology isn't worth it. That makes me sad. John Deere has become quite the...
Nobody wants to fill that hole, that need there where like, hey, let's make a new
maybe the other brands are doing that. I mean, then you've got what is it? McCormick, the red ones, was McCormick, and they were I can't think of the brand. Man, the two big ones when I was a farmer was the green one, which was the John Deere, and then McCormick, but that was the old brand. And then what they call themselves, Case IH, International Harvester. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, International Harvester. And then it used to be a Case, and Case was a brand, and they merged with International Harvester. Now it's called Case IH. And I think Case IH was, at least when I was involved with farming 20 years ago, was the number 2 brand for market share. John Deere was number 1, Case IH number 2, and probably AGCO number 3, I'm going to guess. And AGCO has all these other brands underneath them, like Fendt and AGCO and Gleaner and all these other, and there was a bunch of other ones listed. Whereas John Deere, it's all John Deere. And Case IH, International Harvester, they're red. I don't know if they still make Case, but I think their main brand is International Harvester. And maybe they haven't embraced that technology, and people, but my dad would never, he went John Deere, and that was sacred. We're John Deere, and we're not going to have any red equipment on the farm.
Green.
So, but maybe there's an opening for them. I don't know. I don't know. My dad did have a tractor that came from Europe, I remember. And I was surprised he had that when I came back home from college, and he had a tractor that I didn't recognize the brand name. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't Fendt. It was another one. And then he also had a New Holland. There's another one, blue. I remember now, New Holland. And he had a New Holland tractor. And that was a pretty good tractor, actually. 2
or 3 really old tractors, too.
Well, these.
Those, oh, yeah,
these
yeah.
Oh,
my gosh.
At one time, he had like 8 of them, L. Chalmers WD, or the L. Chalmers WD 45, and the 45 came after. And they made these in the 40s and the 50s. And good little tractors,
That's so funny.
And you can fix them so easy. And
now I can picture the tractor because I was like, oh, just think of it really old. Like, that's, wow.
Yeah, and Dad had probably 5, 6 of them.
And he could work all that on himself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're so simple. And it had a hand clutch, which was good for a kid like me, because I couldn't reach the clutch. But the hand clutch, he welded on an extension. So when I wanted to stop it, I just pushed it forward. And he welded on about a 8-inch extension so I could reach it.
You probably popped out. He probably popped out of your mother, and he was like, "It's a boy. All right, I'll be in the garage. You gotta make my boy an extension so he can drive it."
Yeah, I was driving the tractor before he started first grade. So I was out there driving this kind of a tractor, L. Chalmers. So
you're pretty handy stuff too. You ran the whole farm yourself.
At the time.
You were
at the time.
More.
But you said you
even vehicles too, though. But you just it's just been quite a while since. It's not like riding a bike. There's so much to it that you.
Yeah, and I've gotten away from that. I had a '69 Camaro that I had in college, and it had a 350 engine in it, and I took the engine out of it, and 350 with an automatic, and I took the engine out and put in a 327 that I completely rebuilt by hand, all the way down to the crankshaft. Had the crankshaft machined, and new bearings, oversized bearings, and I had a high lift cam in it. So when you pull up the stop sign, it go, and I put a four in the floor in it, and did all that myself. Had headers on it, and now I'm like, who was that guy? Because I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't have the patience. It takes a long time. Now I'm more impatient. I just hire somebody to do it. Maybe because I can afford to hire somebody to do it. But yeah, I was once quite handy. I learned how to weld before there was wire welding. It was the old stick welding, because they didn't have wire welding. So I would weld stuff. And it may not have passed, welding shop, That's not a very good bead. But did it hold together? Did it not break? That was didn't care. We didn't care what it looked like. We wanted to. Did it last?
I don't remember Grandpa's welds ever falling apart like that being a thing that happened. That would happen.
So you make do. You make it work. You make it work. And now farming is a lot different. I mean, now they have GPS, and you can literally. I don't even know if after I quit farming, when I was still living in South Dakota, they were moving towards. You could have the GPS and it would drive it, but they wanted you in the cab. And when you got to the end of the field, you had to manually turn it around. But after you got it turned around and started on the GPS, you could literally not pay. You could do anything. You could talk on the phone, work on your computer, whatever, until it got to the other end. And then you'd have to manually turn it around. I suppose now, in the last 20 years or so, or 10 years, 10, 15 years, they probably turned themselves around. I don't know. And I don't know if they allow it to the point where they can go up and down the field without anyone in the cab. But at first, it wasn't good enough to do that. All it could do is once you got it turned around and got it started, it could stay on the line. But that was 15 years ago.
You think that would be a lot more safer than having cars that drive themselves on the road?
Yeah.
So that would be the first step to automated driving, would be something that's out in the field where nothing's around it for it to run into.
Yeah. And because it's hard to, and it makes sense because farming is long hours, hard work, and more people don't want to work. And even though it's easy work because you're in an air-conditioned, climate-controlled cab that is probably more comfortable than a car. I mean, the money that these cabs are highly, because you spend long hours in them, so they make them quite comfortable. And you got your stereo, you got your, whatever in there, so you can listen to music.
You got some room. I was always fun to jump into whoever.
Yeah, there's room to get multiple people in there.
Yeah.
And so I remember when they presented that, they said that it'll come a time when a guy can sit in his office on the farm and be monitoring like 20 different tractors going on in different fields remotely, and just making sure. You'd have to go out and, okay, I'm out of fuel, so have to put fuel in. And if you're planting seed, you got to refill the seed and stuff like that. But monitoring, a whole bunch. And I don't know if we're there yet. I mean, it's not out of the realm of technology, because now wars are fought with drones and somebody sitting in a room somewhere, sending the drone. So that seems to be a little more complicated because you got all these different directions. You go up, down, sideways, versus on a farm, you can only go left or right or forward or back. I mean, it's only 2-dimensional versus 3-dimensional when you're in the air. So it'd be a lot easier to control a tractor than it would. And it's going very slowly. I mean, if when we would do different tasks, my dad, you would go 5 miles an hour, or if you really wanted to get done, you'd go 6, but there'd be risks that it might not do as good of a job, especially if it was rough, and you might break something. So that's the speed you're going, 4, 5, or 6. And depending on what you're doing, if you may have to go slower, like if you're combining and it's a big heavy crop, you might have to go slower, but that's roughly the speed you're going in the field. So you're going very slow versus how fast is a drone going? Probably 80, 100 miles an hour, I wonder. A drone?
Yeah, those smaller ones. I was just gonna say, now I think they got the larger drones that will spray your fields for you. I think I saw some video of that. Those big ones.
Makes sense. Yeah, they used to do it with crop dusters. Very dangerous job, but a high-paying job. But it makes sense. They charge a lot to do that, but it makes sense if you get one of those drones. I was actually wondering because, I make content for my music, and I saw a video, and we get training courses, and I'm a member of Entrepreneur, and there's other artists that are in this training, and we have coaches, and we have a Zoom call every Friday, and the other artists are also in there, and we learn from each other because someone's trying something. And this one artist, he posted some videos of him that he's going to use on social media to advertise his CDs, and they were him playing he plays sax as well as other instruments, and he's playing his sax in a really nice area. Well, it's kind of industrial area, but the view was really nice because it was right on the water, and there was a drone that was filming it, and it went completely around him. It was a 360 view from up above, And I'm sitting there. My thought is, I was going to talk to you about it. Well, because I remember my last video that I had professionally done, the whole shoot was a certain amount, and including the editing. And then he said, well, you want drone shots? And that added, another 25%, just adding a drone shot. And that drone shot ended up being a small part of the video. I mean, it was an entire song length video. So it was probably about a 3.5-4 minute video. And the drone parts were probably 10-15%, but it costs more because he's got a drone. And I'm wondering now how expensive would be a drone, my own drone, and have somebody maybe who might help me and run it. I wonder who that might possibly be. I wonder who I could get to run the drone.
Bob, you're asleep? No, you can find a decent one for $100, a pretty decent one for a couple $100.
And then the camera, but you got to get the camera.
Would be already on it.
You're kidding me. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm. So I think it would be decent. I mean, they got those like off-brand ones, whatever you can just buy. That
heck, I paid for his drone 2 times over. If that's all that costs.
No, well, he probably has a nicer drone. I
mean, probably. Yeah. I'm not complaining. I'm sorry if you're watching this. I apologize to you. I'm not saying you did not do a professional job.
Just that you're a jerk for overcharging him. That's what he's saying. Put some respect on my uncle's name. Coming for you.
No, overall.
Anything else?
That's not true. Ignore him. But the total cost, the total cost for the video, was low compared to what other people have paid. It was probably 1/3 of what some other people have paid for videos. So he gave me a great deal, and he's actually at the time, and I haven't talked to him in a while. My album Cool Again came out. When did that come out? 23. So at least 2 years since I've talked to him, and he had just come off the road being the videographer for Elton John in his finale tour. Elton John was touring for about 2 years. He did a goodbye tour, and he has a bunch of videographers on there. I mean, any big touring act like that has videographers, and they're taking multiple shots that are then put on the screen. And so he said, they're asked how many videographers are on the team. He said there were 12. So he was one of 12, but he was videoing Elton John. And then Elton John came off because his tour ended, and he was going out to video for Paul McCartney. So he's no slouch, folks. Obviously, he's quite good.
Or he's a very good liar. It was like, I'm one of 12. How are they going to know it? They're not going to see it. There's 12 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to verify that he's one of the 12. What's his name? Steve? Yeah, there's a Steve on there, I think. 12-1. Do you mean Sam? Maybe it's Sam. Sure. Yeah, he did a great job. No, I'm just jokes. Just jokes, guys. Just jokes.
So I mean, I've seen other artists paying 5 or 3 times what I paid, what he charged me, I should say. And he did a phenomenal job. We had so many scenes. We did it 2 consecutive days, and we must have done 20 scenes, 20 different locations.
Tim charges me $1,000 an hour,
and he did it. I mean, that's what it takes, I guess, to make a great video. I mean, we went to the park, and we were different parks. We went to what's the big park? Centennial Park in Nashville, which is where the Parthenon is. They made a duplicate of the Parthenon in Athens, although this one is complete and has a roof on it. The one in Athens doesn't, because it's a ruins. That park, if you're not from Nashville, is called Centennial Park. And it's gorgeous park. Vanderbilt is close to that. It's a beautiful park. But huge park. A lot of different things.
There's not a merry-go-round. They're making those illegal.
Huh?
Merry-go-round?
Oh, there's no merry-go-round? They're illegal?
They're making those illegal now because you just fly. You just get on it and then make it go really fast and kids fly off.
How did I survive that as a kid?
It was a lot of fun. Man, every bruise that I got from that was well worth it. That was so much fun. I remember holding on for dear life, one of those things.
Anyway, yeah, so it's a big park. They have a lot of things going on, and we filmed there. And we filmed at another park in East Nashville, I remember, and just going to different places and filming. And he filmed me once. I was driving my car, and he filmed me, you know, so he was in the passenger seat and filming me while I was driving, and just a lot of different shots. And you know, phenomenal phenomenal job. So you can pay a lot. I mean, I saw a post where somebody was saying what they pay for a song with professional artists or professional musicians, I guess, if you're an artist and you want to get and somebody said, I saw a post, they said $50,000 for an album if you're a label. I pay a fraction of that.
It was a little awkward that he kept on making you try to wear those Elton John sunglasses. That was a little awkward. It's like it's not his brand.
He did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal. I still follow him on Facebook. I should call him up. Maybe do another video.
Good job, Sam, if that is your own name. I don't like this guy. I think that wraps up our podcast for today, guys. Appreciate you listening, enjoying, watching. Feel free to subscribe. Share the podcast on Facebook. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Ask us a question. We'd love that. We would really like that. We don't get a lot of attention. We don't get a... We're both single. When we go out to eat, we sit at several tables just hoping some wonderful lady will just show up. It's usually just the server.
Are you wiping off the tears?
Yes, the tears of my pain. I'm so lonely. So lonely. Do you feel my pain? Tim, this is going to keep going until you turn it off.
Okay, I'm leaving you. See you all next time. And I'm going to let Seth sing his song.
She doesn't look at me like she looks at you. Don't be scared. I don't bite, but I might nibble. You might nibble?